Welcome to Morning Devotion with Ken Gurley. Devotions designed to inspire you on your daily walk with God. Here's your host, Ken Gurley.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Devotion with yours truly, Ken Gurley. Still alive, still kicking, still hanging in there. Thank you for your prayers. Feeling some better. Thank you, Jesus. It's Monday, December 21st, Christmas week. And what a special week I hope this is for each and every one of you. 5 lies, 5 truths. What you tell yourself matters. A great devotion this morning. Let me give you a little programming note what we're planning to do this week. I'm going to be taking a break on Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, I'm going to read the Christmas story. So hopefully it'll be something that you'd like to share with your family. That wonderful, matchless, greatest story ever told of God coming near to us. We're getting close to the close of the year. Next week, God willing, I'll be sharing with you some insights about how to put some old things to rest, abandon some old things, and embrace some new things. So I think you'll enjoy it next week as well. But from our heart, our home to yours, I wish you the merriest of Christmases this week. 5 lives, 5 truths, and what you tell yourself matters. We tell ourselves lies. In fact, that's the purest form of lying, is self-lies. They are the untruths, the mental whispers, the 1,001 things we tell ourselves about ourselves. And they're not true. It's like Naaman standing outside of Elisha's house. His mental framework of how his healing was going to happen had been abolished. In fact, what he thought Elisha was going to do is not what Elisha did. Elisha didn't come out of the house, told him to go dip 7 times in the river Jordan. Naaman said, behold, I thought. It's in our thought life that so much damage is done. It's the assumptions that we make, the declarations, the opinions, the judgment, because that's at the root of who we are, our identity, or our perceived identity, our character, our core values, bedrock principles. Our identity is not determined by extrinsic things. No, not height, weight, skin color, hair color, characteristics such as that. I read a while back of an Australian woman who got tired of being short. She was 5'1". She believed her height was the reason she wasn't taken seriously in the professional realm, wasn't getting ahead. So she decided to do something about this. I don't recommend what I'm about to suggest. She found doctors in Russia that would break legs, both of her legs in 4 places, and slowly stretch them 1 millimeter every day for 9 months. Then she was put in plaster Paris casts for 3 months, cost her $40,000 a year out of her life, but she was 3 inches taller. Yeah. And she says she's gained respect and she's now been elected a city councilwoman. But oh, my friends, there's got to be a better way than that. And that, I think the best way is just change what you tell you about you. It's a number of years ago that Henry Nevin wrote that there are 5 lies of identity. I want to share these with you. Then I also want to share with you the 5 truths of identity. So if you would, loop some folks in on the page, like, share, follow, and let's make this a warm place to gather at the Christmas. So Henry Nevin said there are 5 lies of identity. Let me list them real quick, then I'm going to go back and discuss each one of them. Is that okay? All right, so if anybody wants to take them down, you're welcome to do it. 5 lies we tell ourselves about who we are. Number 1, I am what I have. 2, I am what I do. 3, I am what other people say or think about me. 4, I am nothing more than my worst moment. 5, I am nothing less than my best moment. And each and every one of those 5 statements is a lie. Let's go back and look at them, and I think they're going to help us. They're going to help us through this holiday season and through life. Number 1, I am what I have. That's a lie. Years ago, I did a sermon series at Christmas called Affluenza, how people were addicted to affluence, sickened by extreme consumerism had gripped America. You're not going to find it on this disease chart, but it is a sickness. And it's a sick lie, I believe. Having more, getting more, possessing more, owning more, accumulating more, buying more, that somehow that defines who you are. It doesn't bring happiness. You're not your balance sheet. You're not your bank statement. You are a soul, a person made in the image of God. You are not what you have or haven't. The second thing, I am what I do. That's the second lie. This is tough for some of us. You put a bunch of men in a room and they're going to ask each other eventually, what's your name? And then the second question, always out of their mouth, what you do. We define ourselves by our jobs. One of the most miserable gatherings is when people at work are forced upon each other in social settings and they discover how little they have in common with these people outside of work. If you need a title, an office, a place in the org chart to say that you're somebody, then you're mistaken. You're not simply what you do. Number three, the third lie. I am what other people say or think about me. Well, if that's the case, we're all in trouble, folks. Social media makes mudslinging and opinion giving a fine art form. People are willing to share what they think of you at the drop of a hat. And they do so vigorously. And if your identity is determined by what people are saying about you, then you're all in trouble. We're all in trouble. If you buy into this line, here's what it does in your life. You begin an endless quest for the approval of people. You need people to be into you. You need to be needed. You need to be liked. Your identity does not rest with the good or bad opinion of others. That's a lie. The fourth lie, I am nothing more than my worst moment. Who wouldn't love to rewind the clock and take some moments back? I would. And I'm sure you would. Things we did that we shouldn't have done, things we said we shouldn't have said, things we didn't do, didn't say, that we should have done and should have said. You can color the past mistakes of our lives as much as you like, mentally dress them up and excuse our failures and regrets, but we just can't expunge that from ourselves, and we torment ourselves with it. Calvary helps us there. Calvary blots out our transgressions. We've all had low moments, but our identity is not anchored in that low moment. And the flip side is a lie as well. I am nothing less than my best moment. It's as dangerous to believe your life is defined by your best moment as by your worst moment. Because success and high water marks and records and accomplishments, so many of those just dwindle away into thin air and to dust. People cling to their blue ribbons and trophies from yesteryear, not realizing they consign themselves to always live in the past. Their top moment was some moment on a high school football team or band, or their greatest moment was when they graduated and got a certain job and they reached their peak years, and they've gone. Now they're falling downhill. But can I tell you something? God always has surprises for us, things that will come out of left field, bolts out of the blue, where God upsets our plans and some serendipitous, providential moment happens. What about Moses at the age of 80? He thought he was done, but God showed him a burning bush, and he turned aside to see that great sight. And that's the only reason we know of Moses' name. God's got some things in store for you. Let go of yesterday's peaks and say, God, where are you taking me today? We tell ourselves lies, but we need to tell ourselves some truth. Rather than repeat the lie, I am what I have, say this truth. Who I am is a gift from God. It's not a single product, not a new car, not a new home, not a new outfit that will make me or you feel any more secure. in our identity, that knowing that we are a gift from God. What makes you feel secure is when you recognize, I am made by God, I am loved by God, I'm not made secure by things, I'm secure in knowing I am His. I belong to Him. How does that truth impact us? It's freeing, actually. It frees us from much of keeping up with the challenges, so much of banging our heads against the wall, wanting more and more. God says, you're mine. You're my child. Oh, Paul said, speak to yourself in psalms, hymns, spiritual songs, and the melody of your heart should be, yes, Jesus loves me. I just added that last line. I like that. Rather than repeat the lie, I am what I do, say this truth. What I do flows from who I am. The jobs, the offices, the title, they're not who I am, but they flow. They flow from who I am. The jobs, offices, and titles and things can be taken, but who I am on the inside and the inner resource, that fountain, that geyser, that artesian well of personal character is springing up in our lives. It's a river of life that flows through you. It's His strength within you. Who you are will always find a way to this service. It will always percolate its way to the top because your identity is secure in God and it reveals itself in everything you do. Rather than saying the lie, I am what others say about me, why don't you say this truth? I live for the approval of the Master. I've always liked that verse. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. How are we to wait upon God? I think it's waiting on Him as a dutiful, devoted servant, watching His every move, His every mannerism, sensing which way the King is going, what the King's wishes are. We don't look to public opinion that way. We look to the face of the King that way. It's a hard choice, folks, but you better learn it quick. And you better make the choice before it's too late. If you're playing to the grandstands, if you're playing to please the audience, you understand, you will never please fickle fans. In fact, it's exhausting because fame is fleeting and audience approval wanes. Run, walk, do, think, say, love to please one. Just one, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Rather than say, I am defined by my worst moment. Why don't you say this truth? I may have failed, but I'm not a failure. Failure is an event, not a person, and it's certainly not me. And when you look in the mirror, you're not looking at a failure. You may have stumbled, you may have messed up, you may have blown it, but you're not a failure. A righteous man may fall 7 times, but he gets back up again. Learn from your failures. Absolutely learn from them. I've learned from my failures. Learn from the mistakes that you made. I could have done it different. Would have done. Next time I'll do this. I've learned from my mistakes. But always stop a moment and say this. I will learn from this mistake. I will learn from this failure. I'll be the better because of it. Don't live in condemnation. Don't live under a cloud of judgment. Rather than saying, I am my greatest moment, say this. I am thankful for any success God has given me. Yeah, live that way. Failure is an event. Success is a process. It's a never-ending goal. It's not a final destination. No, success is becoming. Success is daily triumphing and overcoming. Success is finding that there are people who matter all around you. Why am I talking to you like this today? Because I think we need a realignment of our thoughts and plans. This year did not turn out as we intended. Many aspects of our lives, our hopes, our dreams were shattered or wasted. And I think we need to be called back to the foundation of our identity. the value God puts on us. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. I believe that. How you talk to yourself, what you feed your mind and spirit, it matters. And within each and every one of us is something uniquely divine. As certainly as Christ came into this world and was placed in a manger, you and I accepted him into our lives, and he took up residence. We are no longer our own. It's Christ living within us. As you know, we minister a lot in India. The Dalits, the untouchables in India, are given derogatory names. That's what they're called by, to indicate their lack of status, low identity, low caste. We define people by labeling or naming them. In the article Leading by Name, and Mark Lambertson speaks of the power a name carries. Each day, our naming of people around us gives life or takes life away. I can still feel the impact of a highly musical friend who one day called me musical. Mark said, no one had ever called Mark that. He said, I didn't really play an instrument. I was no soloist. Yet what made this comment so remarkable was that I instantly felt known and loved. Why? Because I was being named in the way that always matters the most, from the inside out. That the musicality of my life, fundamental and invisible as it was, has to do with my soul and not with instruments. It's about my way of being in the world and not about notes played. The sheer unexpected grace of being named musical stunned me. It's not the most important thing about me, but he got me in a way that noticed, validated, and appreciated something deeply true about me, even though it's usually missed. Being rightly named means being truly known. It will change your life. Imagine the transformation among the Dalits when they discover that God came as a Dalit, an outcast, and that Jesus has the power to reclaim them and rename them. Holy, chosen, beloved, beautiful. Yeah, he loves us so very, very much. I pray for each of you today. I pray for you and your families. Leave your prayer request out to the side. Follow the page. Share the page. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning. And may God be with you.
Thank you for listening to Morning Devotion with Ken Gurley. Join us next time for another inspiring devotion. To support this ministry, please visit firstchurch.com.